right, now let's focus on the top story and the big story that we are getting at this point, and we are going to focus on the issue of the affidavit filed by the UP government on the issue of forced conversion, giving out the finer points, giving out what constitutes forced conversion according to the UP government, owing to which it has brought about the anti-conversion law. Now, it has clarified in its interpretation of the ordinance while responding to a batch of PILs that challenged the controversial ordinance in court. In fact, I'm going to give viewers a better understanding of it all in terms of the affidavit that has come out now. My colleague will join us to take us through the details, but let's understand that this is coming at a time where the Supreme Court has now said that it is going to look into the validity and the constitutionality of the anti-conversion law. The larger popular perception is that this has been brought about to crack down on interfaith marriages, especially Hindu-Muslim marriages. Is an elected government mandated to get into that space? Though there are many questions raised around it, the UP government has now come up with this affidavit which has given a number of points as to why it feels an anti-conversion law is necessary. For starters, the government feels that there is no dignity in conversion. The affidavit says that if an individual changes his or her religion by choice only because he or she will enjoy the benefits of the new religion after conversion, there is a conflict of interest. And that amounts to losing personal dignity. I will have Tanima join us now to take us through the important points in this affidavit which the UP government has submitted in High Court. Tanima, over to you.
That's right. In fact, if we take a look at the salient points which have come through in this affidavit, it actually shows us the way the UP government is actually going about choosing cases or figuring out cases of alleged forced conversion. If we look at the kind of definition that they have given, essentially saying that if an individual changes his or her religion by choice only because he or she will enjoy the benefits of, if we go into the next page, of the religion, that the new religion that they are adopting after conversion, there's a conflict of interest and that the individual loses his or her dignity and equality. It is already assumed over here, the UP government, that there won't be any equality or dignity if a person is actually converting, especially in this situation where they're getting into a relationship, or otherwise in case of this, in the way they are looking at cases of forced conversion. So this is what UP government has officially said in its affidavit submitted in the High Court. Let us also take a look at the kind of examples that have come through from this affidavit, and these are some of the examples that the UP government has put out in order to demonstrate the way they are actually figuring out whether a case is that of forced conversion or not. Take a look at the first example that they have highlighted. So it goes, a Hindu woman by choice marries a Muslim boy, but her marriage is considered valid only after she gives up her faith and idol worship. We go into the following point, where it says this will amount to forceful conversion. The position remains even if a Hindu boy wants to marry a Muslim girl. So in this case, of course, specifically talking about marriages, the UP government is saying that if there is a conversion which is taking place because of marriage, that is a case of forced conversion, whether or not the person has willingly done it or not, whether there's a matter of choice involved of that individual, that is not at all considered in that example given by the UP government in its affidavit. Let's take a look at example 2, which they have highlighted. If missionaries of a community allure Mr. X of a scheduled caste by assuring a job, it amounts to forceful conversion. Over here, the UP government seems to be bringing into ambit the cases of missionary groups or charity groups which might be working in a particular area, but they say that if that work, if there is a benefit or a facility being provided by the group and that leads to a person actually, the beneficiary actually converting as a result of that act, that is a case of forced conversion because the choice is obtained by allurement and that there is no individual free will involved because there is an allurement given to the beneficiary in the other side, which is why the conversion has in fact taken place. So there also the UP government feels that this is also a fit case of forced conversion. These are the kind of examples that they have highlighted in their affidavit, which in a way shows that this is the format in a way, or this is the way the UP government or the UP police are judging and estimating cases of forced conversion when they are actually looking at if complaints are coming in or incidents are being reported.
Right. Tanima, thanks so much for giving us that interesting explainer. I want to now introduce my guests this afternoon. Joining me now is Geeta Luthra, Senior Advocate of the Supreme Court, and Anila Singh, National Spokesperson of the BJP. Many thanks, ladies. Thanks very much for joining us this afternoon, and I'm looking forward to the conversation with the two of you. Coming to you first, Geeta Luthra, you just heard my colleague explain it all to us, and what the UP government is essentially trying to say is that if it's a willful conversion to another religion, no problem. The moment it is accompanied by marriage, it becomes suspect, because the state government feels that it amounts to having benefits associated with the conversion, and therefore that is where the government wants to intervene and regulate. I want to understand from you on the finer points of law. Here is a question of individual liberty, right to freedom of choice, right to privacy in choosing a spouse of any faith. To what extent is an elected government really mandated to get into this space of individual choice and freedom?
So nobody is mandated to have this right except the individual himself or herself. That's the first aspect. So tomorrow you can come around and say my parents are not agreeing to the marriage and therefore I can't get married. Or a community is not agreeing and therefore you can't get married, and therefore this honor killing. Remember, in several cases, including I think it's called Selvi, in the Supreme Court, the judgment was called Selvi. It was a judgment which said that honor killing is banned and that any person who becomes party, remains in conspiracy, remains present where any such offense is committed, including police officers, etc., would all be made liable. This is one of the very well-known judgments of our time. After that, an honor killing bill also was introduced. I don't know whether it was enacted, but it was introduced. Now, all it's trying to say, all those judgments are trying to say that a person has a right of family life, which is part of their right of privacy. Similar is the tenor of Supreme Court judgments with regard to homosexuality, with regard to even the third gender. Basically, what it's saying is that you have a right of life. That right of life includes a right to live with dignity. And you are the ultimate arbiter and person to decide where your family life is and what your right of privacy is. Now, what the UP government is trying to do is to say that it's actually trying to overreach. What it was trying to say is if two people of a community love each other, then if the marriage is being solemnized according to the Hindu religion, which mandates two Hindus, the Muslim religion, which will mandate a conversion to Islam. So and therefore, very often people would convert to Islam and get married. That should not be permitted. That's really what it's trying to say, that you have a right to convert. What it should be saying is you have a right to convert if it's an informed decision. But if it's only with a view to get married, then you should go under the Special Marriage Act. But instead of saying that we will educate the people so that they can form informed choices, they are taking the people to be ignoramuses and saying that they do not have informed choices. So if I don't have an informed choice about marriage...
Okay, this is very important, Geeta Luthra, what you just mentioned. I'm sure a lot of people are not clear about this, that the option should have been to go under the Special Marriages Act if you want to convert for the purpose of marriage. It should not be a punishable act. It should not be that the law enforcement cracks down upon you and you are penalized. That is what the law does. It actually defrauds the whole act of marriage if it is accompanied with conversion, and that is where the problem is. Anila Singh, if I would like to put the question to you on what Geeta Luthra said, that this is an infringement on individual liberty. We've handled these cases before when it came to homosexuality and other things. I want to ask a very specific question to you. You just heard Geeta Luthra pointing out that individual is the only arbiter. The state cannot regulate on these matters. How is it that the UP government feels that it is fair for the government to regulate in matters of choosing a partner for marriage or religion for that matter? This is government regulation. It is overreach, isn't it? As Geeta Luthra just said.
Absolutely. See, first of all, this law is anti-conversion law. This is not focused only on marriages. And above all, it is not for one particular religious community, as we had been seeing, and we are seeing that it is being shown and projected that as if it is going to target one particular religious community against one particular other religious community. It is not so. Secondly, very rightly said, if you want to get married, if you want to convert after your marriage or before your marriage, then you have to go ahead and you have to use a special marriage act for it. But at the same time, we have seen that the boys or any person, I can say so, I mean not only the marriage but other ways also, you are being lured, you are being tempted, you are being bribed, or you are shown some sort of dreams, and then you are asked to get converted. That is absolutely
No, but how is the government to decide whether there is an allurement? Is there an assumption that people are so naive, that an individual is so naive that he cannot decide for himself what is an allurement? It is the government which will tell you and prevent you from falling into the trap. That is what we are asking, because somewhere there is an assumption that the government is going to now tell you what your level, what is personal dignity, it will define for you, because these are very subjective matters. That's what I'm trying to understand from you, that how is it that for a state which has got enough crime against women to deal with, why did it think of getting into this space if it is not about cracking down on interfaith marriages?
I'm again going to repeat myself that this law is not only about the marriage. For that, you have to go and, like, if you want to go ahead with inter-religion marriage, you have to use a special marriage act. But this law is anti-conversion law, not only for the marriage. And you are absolutely correct. We have seen the cases, whether for the marriage or otherwise, that yes, people are naive, people and girls are naive. They are trapped, they are wooed, they are lured.
Anila Singh, you are aware that there are already sections in the Indian Penal Code that deals with cheating and fraud. There are already sections that deals with minor rapes. When it comes to full-grown adults, why does the state want to intervene is the question. Geeta Luthra, another important point that I might like to highlight here is the affidavit that has now come.
On your part.
I'll come back to you, Anila Singh, because there's so many issues that I need clarity on. I got your point, and you said you repeated the point. I got the point that you're making. You're saying that the UP government only wants to focus on forced conversion, nothing to do with marriages or any particular religion. I want to ask Geeta Luthra, why do you think there is reason to worry? Because the affidavit here says, and I'm reading out parts of it, regulation of woman's free will ensures that she exercises her liberty. There are no fetters placed on exercise of free will of women in selection of life partners, but same is only subjected to certain machinery provisions that are of regulatory nature. So my question to you is, if this is so well laid out, if this is being clarified now in the affidavit that the intention is not to strike down, not to restrict individual liberty of women in particular, why exactly are we worried?
So we are worried, firstly, for the same reason that Anila ji is saying, that women are naive. If women are naive, then perhaps those women shouldn't be allowed to vote. Then all their 50% votes by women should be struck down, that they are too naive. I'm so sorry. This goes at the very root of empowerment of women and of right to equality, right under Article 14, 15, right under Article 20, my liberty, my right of equality. It's taking a woman to be an object. I am sorry, we are not talking about that in today's day and age. So that is why we are worried. The other reason we are worried is that it will have a chilling effect on couples who love each other and want to get married. They will be petrified that there is yet another tool, whether to the state or to their parents or to those who are opposed to the marriage, to be able to come down. So while the Supreme Court says no honor killing, on the other hand, you are bringing in a tool by which they can do honor arrests, and that would have an extreme chilling effect. If there are going to be some 40 or 50 arrests once this ordinance has come in, this itself shows why young people are scared. And honestly speaking, when people are in love, a lot of people would be happy whether to convert from one religion to the other or from one to the other, because both parties really want to be together. Whichever means they may have to be together, but you will not and you cannot say that you will decide
Right.
whether that what that purpose is the conversion. The moment the person is converting, all you can do is you can educate your girls and boys, you can empower your girls and boys, but you can't force them to make decisions. And an act like this, which is punishing, is really going to have a chilling effect
Right.
on young couples in love with each other.
Yes, Anila Singh, last word to you. I want to understand also that since you said that this is clearly only focused on anti-conversion, why should any movement from one faith to another come under government scrutiny? Isn't religion also a private matter? And what about the fact that in UP, your roads are not safe, public transport is not safe, temples are not safe for women? So who exactly is the state government, your BJP government in UP, trying to protect with this anti-conversion law?
First of all, your prejudice has been very much clear because you gave 80% time to Ms. Luthra and you didn't even allow me to explain that what is the aspect
I'm giving you the last word. Please carry on. I won't interrupt.
What do you want me to explain in 10 seconds? Madam Luthra was saying that Anila Singh is saying that women are naive because she didn't listen to me. Perhaps she doesn't know that what Uttar Pradesh is. Perhaps she doesn't know about the backward areas of Uttar Pradesh. Perhaps she doesn't know that what is the literacy rate. What are the economical conditions here? Sitting in Delhi, in your office, Ms. Luthra, it is very easy to say anything. Go to the ground and you will realize. And this law is not only about marriage. Let me make myself very clear. And those who want to show UP government as a villain against the people who are in love, it is their problem, not ours. We are here to protect and support all those people who are being lured, then trapped into the conversion thing. We are not going to allow that. And this law is for that.
All right. So this is actually the official version of the UP government as well, that they have enough data and research to establish that at the ground level, many of these marriages are happening with the allurement of conversion. And therefore, this is something that the government wants to regulate. And this is a pattern which is developing, which the UP government believes must be cracked down upon. But of course, the questions around personal liberty, the questions on right to freedom and choice, which the Constitution guarantees, remain. It's a topic for discussion and debate, and that is what we are trying to do. Thank you so much, Geeta Luthra and Anila Singh, for joining us.